in the fall, if you wake up, we would have like, I think it was 6 a.m. conditioning, which is awful. It's on a football field and it's cold and it's miserable and you just question everything in life. So that run and go, shower real quick, eat breakfast, go to class. Cause a lot of times I had 8 a.m. classes, go to class kind of all day. And then at least art majors, we had 3-hour studio sessions in the afternoon. So from 1 to 4 most days, I was in like painting, sculpture, photography, whatever, in a longer class. So I would always be late to practice, which drove my coach up a wall. So I would have to beeline to the locker room, get dressed really fast. I didn't have to get like any treatment before. Literally run to the field, which was up a hill and down another hill. Practice, get done. And then sprint to the calf, hope it wasn't closed, because a lot of times we show up and it was closed. Shovel food down, and then I would go straight to the library because I worked in the library. And I would work into the library till, I don't know, 9 or 10 at night. And then, your day begins the next day. The athletes that I played with in Division III were some of the most incredible athletes that I've ever seen. So there is some truth to it, yes, because could I have gone and played at LSU? No, I couldn't have. But parents think, I don't want to go play at a JUCO, or I don't want to go play at a D2 or D3 because the kids aren't good at ball. And that's like so completely not the case. There is talent on every single level. It's not, it's not Florida or bust. That's just not how it goes. So yeah, that's, I guess when I've talked to parents, when I've talked to kids, and it's just like, you have to keep an open mind and you have to be realistic about your skill and your talent and where you are the best fit. Cause I just think of some of the athletes that I played with, and oh my goodness, they were just unbelievable athletes who were rocking and smashing down at D3. It was awesome because I was an intern, so I didn't have all of the super heavy responsibilities. Like I was only doing the stuff that I was like, this is cool. I didn't, when you join full time, you get all these other, blah, blah, blah. Just an intern was like riding the wave, like the ultimate. And just, I had so much fun. It was like the most fun summer ever. Just, oh man. I look back on it now and I'm like, that literally was just like the jumping board for everything was just that summer.
This is a first year team, inaugural team, never existed before. And throwing an intern who is now, taking shots for Athletes Unlimited, taking shots on literal Tops trading cards. You have those in Team USA. And like, it's crazy to think like how this journey started for you. But do you feel like it was because of that beginning that has led you to become who you are now, like shooting some of the best in the world, shooting Team USA in 2020? Like that's, yeah. I'm sure that when you started, maybe that was a goal that you had, but like, do you feel like you would have been able to push and launch that fast if you hadn't had that opportunity with Dallas?
Not at all. And when even when I look back at the roster, I'm just like, I left that summer feeling like $1 million, feeling like $2 million. Like I left with the most incredible feeling, and I was surrounded with a group of athletes who was so welcoming and so kind and hyped. Like now when I look at like what I consider my strengths, I'm like a hype woman. Like when you come to a photo shoot, like I want to hype you up. I want you to feel and look amazing. But then, because it was like, I was so new, it was the other way around. And I was the one that was like being hyped up. And without that kind of like support and like nourishment, there's no, I could have left that summer feeling like isolated or like, oh, they didn't want me there, or, oh, they didn't think what I did was good or whatever. And the complete opposite. Had I left feeling like, well, that sucked, would have been an entirely different story. I would have gone back to grad school and probably just looked for whatever to do or looked to stay in New Orleans. But that environment and that group of people, like especially Angie Kyocho, who was just the darling of OG softball. There were just a lot of people, players included, who like really just put their trust and their faith in me, and who like stuck their neck out for me and invited me into rooms that I probably shouldn't have been in, but they were just like very kind and were like, come do that, come shoot behind the scenes of the CBS shoot. And I'm like, what day is it? I don't know what's happening. Like, people didn't have to be that nice to me, and they were. And that summer just made me be like, this is the ultimate, like, best feeling. 3 months of adrenaline. This is where I'm parking it, and I'm staying here. So yeah, it absolutely set the foundation, hands down. We shot that at the hotel and had so much fun. Again, it's another situation where, had you guys said no, we never would have done that. And then the next year, I did the NPF music video with Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake, which reached just under 1 million people. Had you guys said no to the first one, to The Charge, never would have done the second one, ever. Never would have done Carpool Karaoke. So it's like a true example of how The Charge laid that foundation. And you guys were like, yeah, let's meet in the parking lot, and we're going to get behind a moving car while Jade films in the back of the hatchback. And we put Uptown Funk on a Bluetooth speaker, and we walk to the beat. Like, who does that? Awesome people like yourself. If we're talking about someone in my field, it would probably be Carol Bruggeman, who is the I feel like she has so many different titles probably, but yeah.
Did you know she coached at Purdue?
Oh, I didn't know that.
She coached, I'm literally wearing the shirt for those of you on the podcast that are like, what? Yeah, she was, I think, our inaugural coach at Purdue, Coach Brugg.
What?
Yes.
Educate me, girl. Yeah, Carol Bruggeman, I only get to work with her for 1 week out of the year at NFCA. And she is just, I look at her and I'm like, those are the qualities, her leadership qualities, her just wit, her intelligence, her ability to command a room, her ability to take the high road. Like, she possesses so many qualities that as a just a person, but as a woman, I'm like, I would like a helping of that. I look at her and I'm like, I hope I have qualities like her, and I hope that someday I could be just her unbelievable character and be held in that regard.
What legacy do you want to leave on the game of softball?
You know, it's funny because I have asked that question to the athletes in interview sessions. And to me, it's just a question. And I've never flipped it and thought about it myself.
Oh, I'm so happy I asked.
So now I'm like, oh God. Probably I thought it would be harder, but I think probably someone who is devoted to the softball athletes and the game of softball. Like, softball is my number one. And yes, I love other sports and I support women of all sports, no matter what it is. But someone who is like, she lived and breathed the game of softball and the athletes that play it. And that they came above anything else. That the athletes are first and the game is first. And then probably as like a sub to that, like to be remembered as somebody who like made you feel awesome. Like I said earlier, like when girls come for photo shoots, like it is my job to absolutely make you feel so hype and like so good and just like, and I'm not doing that out of fakeness. I'm doing that because I legitimately think that you are the greatest thing ever. And like sometimes it's like interesting because girls will be like, thanks, you know what I mean? But I'm like, dude, like we did a photo shoot for Ringer at a few months ago, and like Taylor Edwards and Sam Fisher come up, and I'm just like, you guys look so lit. Like I want to be remembered as someone who is just like stupid, crazy, excited, that just hypes people up and makes you, I want you to feel the way that I see you.